Hello, my name is Mark Schroeder. I'm with Dallas Social Toastmasters. Tonight I'm going to do a quick tutorial about how to go through a project from the first part all the way to the end to get credit for a particular part of your project. There are a lot of YouTube videos out there on the new website that tend to focus on aspects of the new website, but they tend to focus on things like the feedback section and in some cases the badges section, things that basically don't get you credit. But I haven't found anybody who has done a video describing exactly how to go through a project from beginning to end and get credit. So that's what this is going to be tonight. And I'm calling this Pathways, the Missing Tutorial, because it again is going to go through how you get credit for a real life project. And it turns out I actually have a real life project here that I have done. And so I'm going to go through and get credit for it tonight, showing how this is done. Let me go ahead and start a share of my desktop. All right. What you see here is the Toastmasters website, of course. This actually does look exactly like the first screen that you would see as you log into Toastmasters. The other thing that I'm going to do, I am going to show you both what it looks like when you are on a PC or a Mac, as well as what it's going to look like when you are on a phone. Let me go ahead and do this. Once I've logged in, I'm actually logged in on both of them. I should be able to go to my home and you'll notice, yep, it's the same thing. So this basically is a PC look, and this is a phone. It's actually looking like an iPhone 12 Pro, but what I want to show you is how similar they are as we go through it. All right, so where do we head from here? We're going to go to Basecamp, and we're going to do I'm going to do it on both screens. We're going to do them side by side so that you can see how they look. And you'll notice the layout's obviously a little bit different just because of the landscape versus portrait, but all the information is still pretty much here. I am working on visionary communication, and that is what this project was for. So I'm going to go into visionary communication. And I'm going to do that again on both. Now, in general, when you do this, and I'm sorry about how long it takes to reload the website, it is not blindingly fast. But what I'm going to do here, you'll notice this took me to 10 of 10, and that's not really where I want to be. So at least not for this. It takes you right back to where you left off, which is a good thing in general, but it's not a good thing in this particular case because I want to start from scratch. So what I want to do is I want to go back to inspire your audience. And I want to go to, it's going to be down here in this menu, inspire your audience, the first screen of it. So I'm going to click on that, and that gives me 1 of 10. This is where you would be if you were to start it. And in fact, if you really were to go all the way from the beginning, you'd start at visual communication, which will go there. And it's going to show you all of the parts that you are working on. And in particular, I was working on Inspire My Audience. So I would go here. That may take me to 10 out of 10 again. Let me see. Yeah, but nope, it's going to take me to 1 out of 10. So we have this navigation bar over here, and you don't see that on this other side, but it is here. It's the little pancake thing right here with the project menu. If you do that, it moves the menu over, and you can do the same thing to get back to inspire your audience. Notice again how similar these look. Inspire your audience and the resources. And if you're interested in getting an evaluation form for your evaluator, it's right here. This is the evaluation resource. If you do that, it immediately brings up the evaluation form for you to print. A little bit different on the phone. It's going to bring it up and ask you if you want to save it in your files or equivalent on an Android. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to perhaps get it printed, but you can certainly email it to your evaluator from that tab that will open. Going back to here, describes that the project is an enthusiastic and inspiring speech to establish a strong rapport with my audience. And I'm just going to go through. So this is screen 1 of 10. There are 10 screens that I'm going to have to go through. And at any point I can bookmark the page. So get down here, we go to next. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Note again, very, very similar, page 2 of 2. Layout is very similar. This describes what the project is in terms of an introduction to the project, what your purpose is, an overview of the project, and how the speech can be persuasive, humorous, informational. I'm not going to read everything that's here for you. What I'm really interested in is showing you the steps that you're going to go through. So you're going to read through this step, and there's not that much here to read. We do next. and next. And I'm going through this fairly quickly just to make sure that you get a chance to see it all, realize how much there is to read, or how much there isn't to read in some cases because it's pretty brief, but to give you an idea that it is worth just going through these steps. Now, again, all of this is brief, is something that you're doing before giving your speech, showing what your goals are, showing what you're supposed to be working toward, and then somewhere in that 1 out of 10, we'll get to that in a moment, you're going to end up giving your speech. So it says, assess what you know. So we have add new item, and I'm going to say, I know that inspiring an audience will keep them engaged. Okay. And all we have to do is we do that, and we do an add new item, and we get extra. So over here, wonder. I wonder how to engage a very diverse audience with different interests and communication styles. But as you see, you've got some boxes here that you can add some items, and you have the same sort of boxes over here. If you click on add new item, you can add an item here. Wonder, you can add new items here. You have the same picture. You have competencies down here on both of these screens, and it shows what you're supposed to be learning: how to present a speech in an enthusiastic and inspiring fashion, demonstrate an understanding of the value of gaining audience trust, etc. Clicking next on both screens. Why we inspire. Again, notice how similarly these are laid out. Purpose is to encourage listeners to reflect on their lives and see them in a new way, etc., etc. Clicking next again on both screens. Inspire with your content. So this is kind of a set of guideposts that you're supposed to be looking through for how to create your speech. Same here. There's a video in both cases. The video is a lot smaller on the phone, of course, but the video is here in both cases, so you could play the video. I'm not going to play the video here in the interest of time, but it's here and it is visible and the same length in both of the two formats, whether you're working on a PC or Mac or whether you're working on a phone. And then the next page, we are now at 6 of 10, build rapport with the audience, and each of these indicates that you're supposed to flip it and read it. And so you can do that. And if you go to this one, you get exactly the same kind of behavior. Flip it and read it. Flip it and read it. Again, notice how similar these are. If you can do it on one device, you can do it on the other device. The only thing is going to be smaller screen real estate and layout. Next. To the bottom of this one. Next. Review and apply. Before you complete the assignment, take a moment to read through the questions you see here. Okay. How can recognizing the audience help you inspire them? I'm going to try just typing a couple of things in here, but you have exactly the same boxes here. How can recognizing the needs help you inspire them? It will keep their interest. I'm just going to type in a couple of things here just to make this quick. Why is audience trust more important when you're trying to inspire? Because they have to believe you or need to believe you in order to follow you. And finally, what part does body language play? I'm just going to add that body language contributes to your message. All right. I have to click save, click save, I have to click save. And we have the same layout over here. Click next, click next, complete your assignment. Now it says plan and prepare your speech. Okay, so that would be the part here where you plan and prepare the speech. We have a set of checkboxes here. Over here we have, well, let me scroll back just a teeny bit. Project overview, project purpose, go further back, project purpose, project overview, all the same points are here. Project includes, and we have the same checklist. You can add additional tasks if they're tasks that are part of your project or that you want to be part of your project. And then there are things about how to do the evaluation. And we then have these drop downs that describe what exemplary means, what excels means, and you have the same pull downs over here if you tap on them. So you can look through all of those. Next, at the bottom. Next. All right. Once you have delivered your speech and received your evaluation, take a minute to add. So this basically 9 of 10 is the point at which you have given the speech and you are supposed to come back and complete the project and get credit for it. And so then the question is, add what you've learned. So you have know, you have wonder, and what you learned. And learned. I'm just going to make this really quick. The importance of being inspiring during my communication. We'll let it go with that. All right. And this is the part, this is again 9 of 10. This is where you actually get the credit for what you did. And so looking at my evaluation form, I'm going to fill in the pieces from this. And what this title was Techniques, TECHNI. Sorry for the typing. Got to get on the right row. Techniques to tackle table topics. Okay. Speech date. This was actually a little bit in the past, but that's okay. I still get credit for it. 2024. Select the club. If you were a member of more than one club, you'd have something else in the pull down. I'm only a member of one club. My evaluator was Tim Crandall. The evaluation form. So this evaluation form was inspire your audience. It actually should know that, but it does not. So I have to go find it. It's written on the evaluation form, so it's easy to find. There's inspire your audience. And of course, that's also what the project was too. You can see that right here, inspire your audience. And I think I'm one behind on this one. Yeah, I'm one behind. Nope, I'm not one behind. There it is. There's the exact same form. And request description. I don't need to do anything there. So this is the log of my speech. If I do a save, I get success. If I do next, before you move on. So this is 10 of 10. What this is recommending that I do is review my learning, here's deliver the speech. Well, actually, this is a little bit of everything. Receive the evaluation, assess and reflect, and then congratulations. When you have finished the project, mark it complete. This, again, is screen 10 of 10. I can't do that on this one necessarily. I'm going to skip and just go next. I at least have the same screen. You'll see it looks the same way, but I will not be able to get completion because I didn't fill out the other part. But this is how you complete your project. And all I do is click complete my project, and my project is complete. You are about to mark your project complete. When is it complete? It's still available to view at any time. Confirm. Project completed. So this has now given me credit for this particular speech. And what do I do next? Well, typically I would return to the overview. That one is marked completed, and I would go to the next project that I chose to do. Once you finish a level, the same sort of process happens. I'm not going to cover that tonight, but there will be something to mark the level as complete once you're finished with that. All right, so this is going to conclude the tutorial tonight on how to get from the beginning, the page 1 of a particular project at a particular level, all the way through to getting credit for it. All of the steps that you have to do in order to get credit for the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.